In today's show, insanely bullish Glassnode CTO predicts Bitcoin price will rise 10x from here. That's right, the chief technical officer of crypto market data aggregator Glassnode, Raphael Schultz-Kraft, described a slew of Bitcoin market indicators as insanely bullish and predicted prices are set to increase by more than 10 times. I'm going to be breaking down all these market indicators. 5 of the 6 suggest the Bitcoin price above $200,000. As you can see, 240,000, 286,000, 240,000, 138,000, 328,000, and $274,000 Bitcoin. Also in today's show, breaking news, new institutional player, Massmutual. Welcome to the $100 million Bitcoin club. That's right, everyone's talking about this right now. Mike Novogratz wrote, this might be the most important Bitcoin news of 2020. An insurance company buys Bitcoin for its general account. This needs Fed approval. It's a huge deal. I couldn't agree more. The Binance CEO says, soon, companies buying $100 million of Bitcoin won't be news. Rather, companies that don't buy Bitcoin will become news. Bad news for them. Again, couldn't agree more. And as Yazine points out, insurance companies have an estimated $40 trillion in client assets. Can you say, whoa? A 1% allocation into Bitcoin by every major insurance company would take the Bitcoin price beyond $50,000. You can say that again. And as Dan Held points out, at a 100 trillion market cap, a Bitcoin would be worth nearly $5 million. And speaking about an incoming Bitcoin crisis, Danny Scott just tweeted, I keep repeating this, but a Bitcoin liquidity crisis is playing out in front of our eyes. Bitcoin removed from exchanges is continuing to drop. Another $700 million removed off exchanges this last week. More people are stacking. We'll be discussing this here in today's show. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. As you can see, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the major altcoins are in the red and currently correcting. But where's the Bitcoin price likely to go from here? Find out all this, plus so much more in today's show. All right, welcome back to another episode of Crypto News Alerts. I'm your host, JV. We have so much to discuss today. The market, even though it's currently correcting, there's so much bullishness. So let's talk about it, shall we? The chief technical officer of crypto market data aggregator Glassnode, Raphael Schultz-Kraft, has described a slew of Bitcoin market indicators as insanely bullish and predicts prices are set to increase by more than 10 times. On December 9th, Schultz-Kraft tweeted a thread providing the basis for his ultra optimistic prediction, presenting 6 of the most important on-chain market indicators that are currently hovering at the same levels they were at the start of 2017. Let's break it down, starting right here. Number 1, where are we in the Bitcoin market cycle? Let's take a look at some of the most important on-chain market indicators, starting with the TLDR, which is insanely bullish. Most metrics are far from the top. If things develop anything like 2017, we can see more than 10x Bitcoin from here. And if Bitcoin 10x from here, with Bitcoin currently trading at about $18,000, that would put the Bitcoin price at today's prices at about $180,000 plus. Number 2, MVRV Z-score, $240,000. Current value at only 34% of the 2017 top. Price in 2017 increased 1,150% to an all-time high. At 1,150% increase today, Bitcoin would be at $240,000, as you can see right here on your screen. Number 3, net unrealized profit / loss, $286,000. Current value at 78% from the 2017 top. Price in 2017 increased 1,400% to an all-time high. A 1,400% increase today would put the Bitcoin price at $286,000. Number 4, reserve risk, $240,000. Current value at only 11% from the 2017 top. Price in 2017 increased 1,180% to all-time high. 1,180% increase today would put the Bitcoin price at $240,000. Now, number 5, market cap to thermo cap ratio, 138,000. This is one of the indicators which actually shows the Bitcoin price below 200,000. However, current value at only 25% from the 2017 top. Price in 2017 increased 625% to all-time high. A 625% increase today would put the Bitcoin price at $138,000, as you can see right here on your screen. Number 6, long-term holder SOPR, $328,000. Current value at only 13% from the 2017 top. Price in 2017 increased 1,620% to an all-time high. A 1,620% increase today today would put the Bitcoin price at $328,000. And number 7, long-term holder MVRV, $274,000, current value at only 13% from the 2017 top. Price in 2017 increased 1,340% to all-time high. A 1,340% increase today would put the Bitcoin price at $274,000. So there you have it. And now let's check out some of the additional responses he added to this. Number 8, take these numbers with a grain of salt. It's a single data point. What this aims to show, these Bitcoin cycle indicators are still far away from their values that indicated a Bitcoin top in 2017. If things develop like 2017 and the metrics hold true, I expect over 10x from here, which would put the Bitcoin price at approximately $180,000 at today's price. And he also adds the final one right here, number 9. All Bitcoin metrics presented here are available as live charts on Glassnode Studio. So shout out to Glassnode Analytics. And as always, none of this is financial advice. Do your own research. Touche. Now, wasn't that freaking awesome or what? It's also important to point out Glassnode's December 8th weekly on-chain data report, which could be found right here. I'll include this in the show notes below the video in the description, found that Bitcoin is likely to retrace before rallying into new all-time highs as investors look to realize profits made during the run-up in the recent retest of $20,000. The report states sideways or downwards price movement can be expected as they realize these profits, and despite warning of bearish pressure from short-term profit takers, the report concludes that Bitcoin's long-term outlook is bullish. So there you go. Let's go BTC. And before I break down our next story of the day, breaking news. New institutional player, Massmutual, purchases $100 million in Bitcoin. Let's first take a look at the overall crypto market. We can see Bitcoin down 2.29%, trading just above 17,800. There is an open CME futures gap at about that $17,000 mark. Many analysts are predicting we revisit that before we can climb and regain our bullish momentum. Let me know your thoughts in the comments right down below. We have Ethereum down 3.45%, trading at $544. So as you can see, a sea of red. Literally, right now we have XRP down 3.6%, trading below 55 cents. I also like to point out that tomorrow there is an XRP hard fork that's going to occur, and wherever you have your coins, there will be a snapshot taken. I know Coinbase, Coinbase Pro, I know the Ledger and the major exchanges and wallets will be supporting it. We have Miss Litecoin down about almost 4%, trading just above $72. We have Stellar Lumens down 6.5%, trading just below 16 cents, and Chainlink down about 5%, trading at $11.59. All right, now let's break down this breaking story everyone is talking about right now. Massachusetts-based insurance firm Massmutual just announced that it has purchased $100 million in Bitcoin for its general investment account, which to them really is practically nothing, but it's a pretty big deal to us, right? According to a report from the Wall Street Journal, the company purchased the coins purportedly 5,470 Bitcoin, given the current price of $18,279 per BTC through the New York-based fund management company NYDIG. Massmutual also reportedly bought a $5 million equity stake in the firm, which holds $2.3 billion in cryptocurrency. Massmutual told Cointelegraph that the investment is a part of a broad strategy with the goal of achieving measured yet meaningful exposure to a growing economic aspect of our increasingly digital world. The company clarified that our $100 million investment in Bitcoin through NYDIG will represent 0.04% or less than 0.1% of our total GIA. That's right. The purchase comes as major institutional players are adopting Bitcoin for the first time and going longer on crypto investments. In September, business intelligence firm MicroStrategy purchased more than $425 million worth of Bitcoin as a reserve asset. And then earlier this week, the company announced it would invest the proceeds from a $400 million securities offering into Bitcoin, as well as I covered in great detail in yesterday's episode. And he actually upped this just the other day. MicroStrategy raising cash to buy more Bitcoin, boost notes offering to $550 million, which they raised literally within 48 hours. As Andy Hoffman pointed out yesterday, he tweeted the deal closes tomorrow, which is today, Friday. And at current prices, MicroStrategy will be buying 30,000 to 35,000 Bitcoin. And guess what? Michael Saylor is loving this dip right now. That's right, BTFD buy that frickin' dip. And as Michael Novogratz points out, this might be the most important Bitcoin news of 2020. An insurance company buys Bitcoin for its general account. This needs Fed approval. It's a huge deal. I couldn't agree more. And Plan B points out right here, huge indeed. Technically, you might not need Fed approval if you already have Fed approval for the asset class, which in case of Bitcoin is commodities. Not entirely sure about US regulation though. Very interesting situation. And as the CEO of Binance pointed out, soon companies buying $100 million worth of Bitcoin won't be news. Rather, companies that don't buy Bitcoin will become news. Bad news for them. Touche. And as Yazine points out, insurance companies have an estimated $40 trillion in client assets. A 1% allocation into Bitcoin by every major insurance company would take the Bitcoin price beyond $50,000. And I agree. I feel $50,000 is conservative. And what if they allocated 5% or even 10%? That would take the Bitcoin price in the multiple 6-digit price range. Now, before I break down and dive even deeper why this is such massive news for Bitcoin, as well as share the latest from Dan Held, who predicts a $5 million Bitcoin, as well as Danny Scott talking about a Bitcoin shortage incoming. Let's first take a look at the overall crypto market cap, sitting at $521 billion with $119 billion in volume in the past 24 hours, and current Bitcoin dominance barely back on the climb at 62.9%. Now checking out the top gainers within the top 100, we have stable coins. That's because virtually all the major altcoins are currently in the red. So let's skip the top gainers and go right to the biggest losers. We have Thor Chain down 8%, trading just below 78 cents. Sushi Swap down 8%, trading just under $2. We have Theta down 7%, trading at 65 cents. Synthetics down 7%, trading at $4.29. IOTA down 7.5%, trading at 27.4 cents. And Yearn Finance, YFI, down 7.4%, but still trading above $23,000. Now, out of this list of the biggest gainers and losers, which altcoins in particular are you most bullish on? Drop me a comment right down below. And now checking out the Binance margins, we can see the bears are barely in control, leading with 50.1% shorts versus 49.9% longs. Are you currently bullish or bearish on the king of all crypto? Holla at your boy. And now checking out one of my favorite indicators is the Crypto Greed and Fear Index. Shows we're currently rated today an 89 in extreme greed. Yesterday was a 94, last week a 92, and last month an 86, all of which is within extreme greed. The highest I've ever seen this in the previous years is recently at a 95, which ultimately indicates a correction, which is precisely what we're witnessing right now. So if you're not familiar with the Crypto Greed and Fear Index, extreme fear can be a sign investors are too worried. That can be a great buying opportunity. BTFD, buy that freaking dip. Once again, Michael Saylor is loving this dip right now, especially with this massive Bitcoin purchase for his company MicroStrategy. And when investors are getting too greedy, like we're witnessing right now, that means the market is due for a correction. All right, and before I dive even deeper into the most important news of 2020, first I want to remind you to smash that show more button right below this video in the description for a detailed analysis of what's going on in the market. This goes for all 630 plus videos right here on my YouTube channel. I also have some very helpful resources for you to plug into, including the blog to my podcast, which could be found at cryptonewsyes.com. Also, be sure to smash that subscribe button right below this video in the description to receive daily premium crypto news alerts. It also helps support the show, and I greatly appreciate your continued support. And just FYI, you have to be signed in order to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. You can also follow us on all the major podcasting platforms, from Spotify, the home of the Joe Rogan Experience, to Apple's iTunes. You can also follow me on Twitter. I am very active on crypto Twitter. My Twitter handle is Crypto News Yes. And for those of you active on Facebook, I do have a private crypto Facebook group entitled Crypto Alchemy. To join it, click this link, request to join. I'll be sure to plug you in. And for those of you active on Telegram, I do have a private uncensored crypto Telegram chat. To join it, click this link. You'll automatically be added, and I'm looking forward to connecting with you personally on the inside. All right, now let's break down our next stories of the day, shall we? Diving deeper into why this is such big, massive news for the king of all crypto. As Alexander points out right here, number one, this is massive news for Bitcoin. An insurance company buying Bitcoin from its general account is one of the biggest stamps of approval possible? Yeah, that's right. And number 2, as he shares, the funds in an insurance company's general account are usually invested very conservatively, as these funds are used to pay policyholder claims. That's right. And number 3, by investing in Bitcoin, MassMutual has effectively signaled that Bitcoin is considered safe and liquid enough for the largest, most conservative institutions in the world to make an allocation. Facts. Number 4, if I had to guess, MassMutual management probably realized that as yields trend towards zero, it is very risky to not own any Bitcoin. I repeat, it is very risky to not own any Bitcoin, especially with the trillions of dollars being printed in the name of quantitative easing. And I know Biden said he's going to be printing over $7 trillion more in quantitative easing. So go figure. If you need a hedge against inflation in the US dollar, what better place to park that capital than Bitcoin versus keeping a melting ice cube, as Michael Saylor would say. And number 5, as Ross Stevens, the NYDIG founder, said, near zero interest rates and the depreciation of the dollar are driving institutional money into Bitcoin. That's right. You need to park those reserves somewhere. Who wants a melting ice cube? Who wants their fortune to turn into water at the end of the day? Just saying, if you want to reserve those assets and protect it into the most appreciating asset class in human history, park that capital into Bitcoin. Just saying. And checking out some of the comments, my boy VJ wrote right here, broke. Bitcoin is too risky. Woke. MassMutual, an insurance company whose only job has been to manage risks for 170 years, bought $100 million worth of Bitcoin. Bespoke, 50 years from now, selling Bitcoins will be considered risky. Touche. So as the corporate saga FOMO continues, Dan Held tweeted right here, at $100 trillion market cap, a Bitcoin would be worth nearly $5 million. Could you imagine that? What would you do, hypothetically, if Bitcoin was worth $5 million tomorrow and somehow the market cap grew to $100 trillion? Let me know your thoughts in the comments right down below. And shout out to Dan Held. I appreciate his bullish prediction right here. And as Hodl Onward points out, all human wealth in 2019 US dollars is about $360 trillion. Fair value of a single Bitcoin at that market cap is about 17.5 million 2019 US dollars. And Dan Held responded, that is right. Touche. And Hodl Onward responded, I don't even know how you would value all human wealth in Bitcoin terms since the supply is finite. Technology is deflationary and wealth can be created. Is it 21 million always and forever? And as Dan Held points out, always 21 million. That's right. And let's not forget the millions of Bitcoin lost that will never be recovered. That's right. That's what makes Bitcoin the hardest form of sound money. And as Hodl Onward responded, you get some weird math when you extrapolate wealth growth in the future thanks to technology divided by 21 million, don't ya? An average 3-bedroom North American home is about 0.0175 Bitcoin if you flesh this out based on 2019 USD and 21 million. And as Steepa points out, respect every Satoshi. Touche. Now let's check out this latest tweet from Danny Scott, who wrote, I keep repeating this, but a Bitcoin liquidity crisis is playing out in front of our eyes. Bitcoin removed from exchanges is continuing to drop. Another $700 million removed off exchanges this last week. More people are stacking, as you can see in this graph brought to you by Glassnode. It's also important to point out that a liquidity crisis could be incoming for the obvious reasons if you actually sit down and do the math. You have PayPal, you have Grayscale, you have MicroStrategy, you have Square, and all of these companies purchasing mass amounts of Bitcoin, not even considering all these institutions such as MassMutual, who just purchased $100 million in Bitcoin. There's only so much to go around. I believe at today's rates, there's like 900 Bitcoin being mined per day. And just between PayPal and Square, like the Cash App, they're purchasing more Bitcoin than is being mined each day. That doesn't even take into fact MicroStrategy, Grayscale, and all the massive institutions. So I do feel we'll have a Bitcoin shortage, which is definitely good for the Bitcoin bulls. And now for a quick recap of what I covered with you right here in today's show. Insanely bullish. Glassnode CTO predicts Bitcoin price will rise 10x from here, as I pointed out in these tweets. And looking through these metrics real quick, we can see a 240,000 Bitcoin price, 286,000, 240,000, 138,000, 328,000, and $274,000 Bitcoin. That's right. Also in today's show, breaking news I shared, new institutional player. Please help me welcome MassMutual to the $100 million Bitcoin club. That's right. And as Mike Novogratz points out, this might be the most important Bitcoin news of 2020. An insurance company buys Bitcoin for its general account. This needs Fed approval. It's a huge deal. And as the CEO of Binance points points out, soon companies buying 100 million worth of Bitcoin won't be news. Rather, companies that don't buy Bitcoin will become news. Bad news for them. And as Yazim points out, insurance companies have an estimated $40 trillion in client assets. A 1% allocation into Bitcoin by every major insurance company would take Bitcoin's price beyond $50,000. That's right, he's being conservative right there. And as Alexandra points out, this is massive news for Bitcoin. An insurance company buying Bitcoin from its general account is one of the biggest stamps of approval possible. And as Dan Held tweeted, at a $100 trillion market cap, a Bitcoin would be worth nearly $5 million. That's right. And as Hodl Onward points out, the value could actually be $17.5 million. He ain't telling no lies. And as Danny Scott points out regarding a Bitcoin shortage incoming, I keep repeating this, but a Bitcoin liquidity crisis is playing out in front of our eyes. Bitcoin removed from the exchanges is continuing to drop, and another 700 million removed off exchanges this last week. More people are stacking. That's right, stack those stats, hodl, and do your thing. So where do you feel the Bitcoin price is likely to go from here? Do you think we'll close that CME futures gap at about that $17,000 mark? Let me know. Drop me a comment right down below. Well, that's going to conclude today's show. As always, I appreciate you tuning in and journeying along with me inside this incredible crypto matrix. If you gain value out of today's show, be sure to smash that subscribe button, that's right, and turn on all notifications to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every single day, just like this. And real quick before I go, if interested in tapping into OPM, leveraging other people's money to grow your wealth and crypto portfolio, then smash that link right below the video in the description to register for this free system. You'll be glad you did, and I look forward to seeing you on tomorrow's episode. Peace.